Hi everyone, Dan Halsey here with Southwoods Ecological Design and United Designers. Just showing you a quick workup of a PDF map that was sent to me. This is sent by architect, landscape architect type firm. And this is what we get a lot of the time is just a black and white 11 by 14 or something file, 11 by 17, 24 by 36, depends. And it's just a PDF and it looks pretty flat. Not a lot we can do with this, but there is a lot we can work with on here because most of these things are already in layers. So as I'm on here, you can see right now that all these layers are in clipping paths. So all this stuff has clipping paths around it, which is what Acrobat does and any PDF software does. It puts clipping paths around everything. So if we select all, we need to get rid of those, because they're really just a pain. So I'm going to go over to Object, Mask, and Clipping Path and basically release that. I'm going to do that again. Sorry you can't see it on the screen, but Object, Clipping Path, and Release. And you can see the changes in the menu over here. All those clipping paths go away, and then all of now our lines are highlighted, which is great. So as you can see, each one of these contour lines is a continuous line. Very good for us. And so we can start isolating the elements, isolating the layers that we use in here in order to clean it up. And the easiest thing to start on right off the bat is these lines for topography and the contour lines. So we're going to use a little box here to select as many as we can without selecting the road, without selecting other things. We just want contour lines. We got a good section there already for that. And then I'm going to do Command or Control G and group them all, and then Shift Command the right bracket and bring them all to the top. So all of those right now are in this group. So we grouped all these. I'm going to call them contours, contour lines. Okay, now they're in that folder, or excuse me, in this group, and if I want to, I can basically turn them off. So we're getting started now with kind of cleaning up things on here, and the more we get rid of like the topography and we start grouping them separately, it makes it easier to work on the other things too. And the nice thing about it is all these paths and all these things are just one big list of items. There's really no groups much. Everything is just itemized. So with that, every time we select something, like if I select this 400 here, see the line for 400 feet, the whole thing is selected. I can do that, Shift Command right bracket, and bring it to the top. So all those lines now are together here. And then I can grab each one of these, they're that contour line, and drag it into my contour group. It disappears, and now it's in that group again. So I can go through here, and there's other lines on here. There's easement lines, there's flood lines, all those kinds of things, and those will all have to be done separately. So use the white cursor and just grab little sections of these as you can, and then Command right bracket, Shift Command right bracket, bring them to the top, and then just drag those into contour, and they will gradually start to disappear off your screen. And then once I get rid of the contours on here, just getting those back into their boxes, so to speak, Shift Command right bracket again. Each time I do that and put them in the contours, all these contours are still there. I'm just hiding them now in that group called contour lines on Illustrator and cleaning up this map. So buildings can be done that way. I can click on this building, which looks to be like, 1,000 little lines. So it's probably a dotted line, something like that, a dashed line. These here, these dotted lines here, which are probably incremental contour lines. You have to look closer to see what those are. The property line, all those kinds of things that then you can kind of go along and select those. Anything that has to do with the road, I could go across the top here and it selects those, and then I would just get all the road things. And so the idea is to start selecting all these like elements in the design and just put them into groups in Illustrator so you can turn them off. That way we can actually then change their colors, because you see right now it's all black and white. Well, we'll change those contour lines to the typical orangish yellow, screen it back to about 20%, and it will be in the background and we can see it, but it just won't be in our face. Like everything now is so blended together, it's like a bunch of noise. We can't separate things out. But we can go into the lot lines, all these other areas, start finding those, and put the lot lines into a layer. And this is much like we have in a base map. All those different layers, those different groups in a base map in our template, our artwork file template, there's a place for this. So it's just a process of going through here, cleaning it up. Sometimes you'll get these and they'll all be in layers already, but most times not. At one time I opened up one of these files from a county GIS online service, and they were already in layers by buildings, roads, water, all of that. It was exceptional. And I must say extremely exceptional because it hasn't happened since then. So it depends on how it's saved. But either way, once you get one of these PDFs like this, like you see, I'm just kind of dragging and just finding all of these lines, and you can see if it's continuous. I can do that. If I use the Shift key, I can add to that. So I can just grab all the other different contour lines that are on here with the Shift key down, and then bring them all to the top at once and get them all together. So now I have, see, this one's a floodway here, and let's see, this one says 400, 401. So this looks like it's a, see these topographic lines there. So I really want to do is kind of clean this up a little more. So again, Shift Command right bracket, bring them all to the top, and this is the Shift and Select with the cursor here. So select this one, Shift and collect that, and it collects all of them at once. Drag them into our contour group, and now they disappear. So you can see how gradually this is cleaning up, and we have a much easier map to look at. And also we're creating our base map at the same time, because we'll go into all these elements, and then we're going to put our weight on them, our line weight, our color, our transparency, and so we can layer these things and make it much easier to see. Then we can bring in the aerial image, screen that back, put in our existing trees, put in other things on here, paths, roads, other things that are missing off of this map, the actual stream bed that's on here, because it's probably not a straight line as they have it on here. And we can start adding all these elements to it. But this is a great way to have a base map right to start, a lot less work. It was supplied by the client, and you know that it's to scale. For the most part, it should be fairly accurate. And it's a great way to start our design work, because now we have a lot of answers done for us. We know exactly where these lot lines are. On other maps or somewhere else, we could probably get the dimensions of that at the same time. But we have now all the elements to start creating our kind of base map, an ecological base map, and then using transparency to change the layers so it's much easier to read and much easier for us to design with. Thanks and good luck with your Adobe Illustrator work. Contact me anytime for advice and help. And remember, United Designers is always here to work with you as a partner on your designs. Have a good week.